Okay, good morning, everyone. It's Wednesday morning. We're going to go through the Yang 24 simplified Tai Chi form. Some of you have been following, and I've been working on some of the pieces. So what I'll do is we'll do a few warm-ups, and then maybe I'll do a quick review of what we did, and then I'll work on the parts of the form I didn't work on last session. So we start off with our feet shoulder width apart, hands up like this, and we're going to turn. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and stop. To the side, these are all limbering up exercises, so we just kind of move the body, get the blood circulating without going into anything that's sequential. We're just getting the body to move. Okay, we're going to switch to the other side. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and stop. Okay, so all of these exercises take us into different directions. That helps us build some of the flexibility and limberness that we need to go through a form kind of relaxed. Okay, let's stretch it out, get the back of the legs, relax the lower back, turn to your right, turn to your left, center, inhale, exhale. Okay, hands up, reach down, 1, 2, 3. So as you release, you'll go deeper, but you don't need to bounce. Some people think if you bounce into your stretch, it's good. Actually, if you're very tight, bouncing is not a good thing to do. But the thing is, releasing and reaching as far as you go, then that actually allows the muscle to release and allows you an increased range of motion. Inhale, palms up. Exhale, palms down. Okay, hands on your waist. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2. Center cross, knees, circular movements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2. Center. Hands in your waist. Neck turning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2. Back and forth. Down, up, down, up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. One more time. 8. Center. Let's tilt to the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, and 2. Circular movements. 1, 2, 3. Reverse. 1, 2, 3. Center. Pull in. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, spread your feet. Let's turn the back. Relax the shoulders and arms. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and stop. Okay, let's turn to this direction. It's mirror image, so it's my right, and it should be your left. That's in this direction. I'm going to switch, give it a stretch. Switch. 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 Reach down. So this is getting the back of the leg. It's good for extending and helping to lift your leg in the kicks. So the stretching here is mainly to help with the kicks and the downward postures. It also helps your leg work. If your legs are too tight or they're restricting, your leg work will be somewhat compromised because you can't sink and settle into your stance. So relaxing is very important. And the term relax, to me, is really releasing the tension in your joints and in the muscle. Okay, then we go to the center, and then we squat down. Then we switch the other side. There's your downward posture. It helps to do this. This is just kind of putting a little bit of the upper body weight into your knee to support you, so you're not carrying 100% of the weight completely on one leg. You're really kind of building this structure. And this kind of helps you press down on here so that you can work way up in the hip here, and it helps you open that up. Now, if you grab your foot and do this, then you can pull your thigh back so it doesn't, so that opens your hip more, and this will help you open your hip this way. So these are just positions, but that's just during the stretch. So stretching is something that you find different positions to go into, and then you let that muscle kind of work. So, a lot of people don't like to stretch because they feel that it's painful, but the pain comes from the muscle resistance, and at the same time, you have this conflict because you're telling yourself you don't like to stretch and it hurts, whereas it should be the opposite. You should tell yourself to relax, let it go, and then work your way into the stretch without forcing it. Now, forcing it is not a good thing to do, and let your body gradually build that range of motion, and then all that soreness that you might get from stretching initially is really because the muscle is not letting go, and there's some conflict, and you might be doing some micro tearing in there, and then you're going to be sore the next day. But if you stretch a lot, that soreness doesn't happen. So anyways, deep breathing, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Okay, let's do a few shoulder rolls. Okay, go the other way. And center. Okay, let's stretch out the wrists. We do a few of these mainly because when we do our pushes, we want the hands to be pushing, but then you want your arms to be fairly relaxed. Okay, so we stretch out the muscles in the forearms because those are the ones that kind of restrict and get tight. So stretch out the forearms. This actually helps stretch the shoulder this way. So these are just taking a joint, putting it in a position, and using a passive action. You're kind of pulling it in. Okay, so that just gives you a little bit of flexibility there. You know, we do all of this anyways in the other classes, so I don't want to spend time on that. You can do those exercises on the alternate days. Okay, now we're going to take our wrists and we're going to create a circular movement. So to turn the wrist, it just continues around. So that's creating just this action. And because it doesn't use a lot of strength, it's just going through the motions, you have some activity going on in the wrist. Okay. Now when you do this, then you get the fingers a bit when you do this, so you kind of lock your fingers in, and you feel the stretch in this part of the hand, because that's the joints that you're working with. I mean, you could take each finger and do that if you want. You know, that's just taking your fingers in a direction that allows even the tissue here to kind of bend. All right, shake it out. Then with the hips, let's do a few circles like this. Okay. So take it one way and then go the other way. And you go the other way. So these actually take a little bit of a coordination depending on, you know, whether you've done this or not. Okay. And then we're going to turn the hips in and out. So this just helps us open and close the hip, and that's really toeing out and toeing in when you make that 180-degree turn. Now this takes a little bit more coordination because I'm running through this fairly fast, mainly because we don't have a lot of time to work with the form if I don't. Okay, deep breathing. This is our deep breathing exercise. And we go down. So what we do is bring the hands directly to the front with the palms up. We pull toward the face, elbows out, up on your toes, and down. We breathe through the nose, both inhalation and exhalation. Through the nose, your tongue touches the roof of your mouth, and you have one cycle of inhalation, one exhalation. Okay, shake that out. Okay, so now we're going to go through some of the postures that we've done through in the past. Remember, we got this back 45-degree corner position that's important. That's important because that's a sort of preliminary setup for a lot of the movements. So as a consistency of movement and where it starts from, I call those kind of neutral positions, setting up for your position. In the Tai Chi paradigm, we have the neutral and this horizontal position that is important as a setup for many of the postures. In this form, we have a lot of this setup or this setup. So it's important. So if we're talking about muscle memory and turning of the shoulders and the waist, that muscle memory, when we turn like this, is a direction, but what creates that angular position is your position of the torso, where this hand is and what this hand is. So muscles that are creating that muscle memory is not just the arms, but it's in your body, it's in your hips, it's in everything that's involved. So when I turn like this, your back is involved. And a lot of people aren't used to turning the back, never mind finding a joint angle position in the back. But if you turn from here to here, 45 degrees, and you turn from here to here, 45 degrees, you're already creating that kind of a muscle memory because that's your limit anyways. You can't turn much more than 45 degrees because the spine won't allow that. Now, the muscles will accommodate that rotation if you're developing a movement because movements are a motor skill. So if you turn your body, then your body over time will learn this is the position you're looking for, and that's what we're looking for, okay? Now, when we're in say, a stance, we're like this, that's a toe out, toeing in like this, or you can go like this, shift, right? So you're here, toeing to the corner, then we're front, and we're here. So we're going from here to here as a stance, from here to here, and then we bring the foot here, and the body ends up going forward. So that happens in holding the ball, part the horse's mane. So I'm just going to do right and left movements. In the form, we'll do the 3 that's necessary. So there's your right and left, okay? Stork flaps wings from this position becomes this. We only have it on this side. So that's stork flap. This should be about where your ear is. This is along the side of your body. So it should look like this, stork flaps wings. And then when we turn to center, to the back, bring the foot in, bring the foot out, bring this hand down, fold this elbow, and push. So this is brush knee. Okay, brush knee and push. Toe out, check your weight, turn to the back. So you're starting like this. There's your back angle, and this one kind of is parallel to it. And that's the hand that's going to brush down. This is the hand that folds, and this is the hand that pushes. Okay, so that's why we wanted to stretch the wrist a little bit so we have some flexibility and some flexibility here. Because if you don't have flexibility, you're going to push it, and it's going to be like that, or you're going to strain because it gets very tight. So that's going to happen for people that are first learning anyways, because you're forcing the movement and everything else kind of tightens and you're not creating a good fluid motion. So once we have that brush knee position like this, we have this half step. Okay, so that half step is really planting the foot right behind the other one, switch the feet position until you get to here, right? So this is what we do when we go to strum the lute. So strum the lute is this. And then we turn this torso, the chest, to point 45 degrees. So that corner is 90 degrees to your chest. That's facing 45 degrees, and your hands are like this. That's called strum the lute, and it's strum the lute in all the forms, actually. It's kind of a on-guard neutral position, vertically, elbow down. Okay. Now when we turn our hands palm up, and I bring this back to that back corner that we've been targeting all this time, and I do this, I'm bringing it to the ear just like in the brush knee, but now I'm going to go backwards. So when I fold my elbow, I fold my knee, and I step backwards. There's your center. So go toward the palm, and then turn the body away, and simultaneously, or as a function of, this foot is going to go to the toe. You fold the elbow, you fold the knee, you step back, and then the hand goes toward the center, and then you're here, and you kind of settle in your stance. You go up, 1, 2. Now you watch the front foot, it's spinning till I get to here. So that's how you kind of finish and finalize. Now the fourth one, we're not going to go back there. With the fourth one, we stop it here, and then we end up like this. Okay, then we turn the hands over like this, which is typically, I call it reversing the ball, and then we would step up, and we have part the horse's mane, or actually this one is ward off. So part the horse's mane is like this, ward off is like this. Not a significant difference, not real important unless you are applying the technique, but it kind of looks the same. So this is grasp the sparrow's tail, ward off, roll back, press, sit back, and push. Okay, so you have 4 movements. just like in the Wu style we have the 4 movements. I'm going to step up a little. So when we're here, you have ward off, set up your hand, kind of go to this corner slightly, and you roll back so that it passes your body, and you find that back corner again. Now that just gives you a good reference point, and then you cross your forearms and sit back. Now this is push, leopard and tiger, springs mountain, push. So when you're here, you have a parallel arm position. Okay, when you're here, you have the half round here. This is what I call the horizontal elbow. This is diverting, so one hand is up, one hand is down. The front hand is palm down, inside hand, and you roll back to here. Now when you roll back the first time, you want the front foot to stay flat. Then we get to this corner, we fold the elbow, and then we merge at the forearm, and we go forward. So this is your left side grasp the sparrow's tail. Now typically it happens in the form as a 180-degree turn, but we're just doing the front image of these postures so you can see through the mirror what these movements are doing. So you're going to sit back, the front foot stays down, you go to the back corner, you fold the elbow, you merge in the front, that's a press, and then you come back as if you're going over the big ball. So you imagine this sphere in front of you, and then you kind of ride the top of that periphery to get over the top and over the top as a rolling motion. Okay, so that's grasp the sparrow's tail. So what happens after grasp the sparrow's tail is setting up for the single whip. So single whip is this. You're in a forward position. This is your left leg forward, and you have single whip like this. Okay. The side view is this. Okay. So in Wu style we have it like this. So it's the same name. The stylistic difference is this is more in a archer stance. This is more in this horse stance. Okay. To get to this position, it comes from this position after the grasp the sparrow's tail right side. Now we turn like this, and then we're going to complete that move. So the cloud hand movements is this. And I think I mentioned last week that the hands are a little bit more horizontal as you turn. We don't move the feet by pivoting, but we step. So each time we step, we make a transition on the arm. So you can see here we're horizontal and we're in this position. So you have this elbow like this. When we're doing the Wu style, we're like this and we shift and the elbow ends up more vertical. And then, so essentially the feeling of the movement is the same. You're on one side or the other. One's elbow passing through, because movements actually are just a pass-through and a transition to the other side. Now the timing involved is what you're building, but also you have to understand that this is your balance point, this is your balance point, and then this is your step. This is your balance point and the support side, but the configuration of the arms looks a little bit different. So that comes from here. 1, 2. Now here we're going to go to that corner, and we're going to go to here before we step out and palm out like this. So that is single whip. But look at this arm. That's the same 45-degree that I talked about here. So that referencing of that position is pretty important in order for you to make the transition, and also to get that look of the Yang style Tai Chi. This would be repulse the monkey. This would be single whip. And, a number of other postures are going to start from here. So this back position and the folding of the elbow is a transition in this form that takes us in different positions in different postures. So when we're here and we end up here, now we spin back to the front, and we're going to bring this hand down to here. So that's really a cloud hand movement, and this starts to track. And you begin to do a series of 6 arm movements, a pair being 1 set. So you have 3 sets of movements to create the cloud hands to single whip. So the lead-in movement from this to your cloud hands is exactly the same. So if you know this movement, and that's what you can practice, just this hand movement. So if we go to single whip, I would put my hook hand here. I would pull the foot in here and step out so that I can find that leaning position. So you see it's like this. Now if I reverse the movement, I come back and then I reset. Because the legs were a little wider, I have to get back into this position. And it's not a shoulder width position. It's kind of maybe a gap position between the feet, maybe 2 to 3 inches apart. It's not pulling the legs tight like this, because that would restrict your lateral movement. And now that puts some, it's adduction in the inner thigh, and that would pull your leg together. And you don't want to compress that. That would be using those adductor muscles kind of pulling your legs together. So you don't want to pull it too close, because then it puts an inward motion. So you want to just let that leg hang as you step. You just let it find its natural position. Now, I'm going shoulder width here to the close. So if I went like this and I went to shoulder width, I wouldn't be moving. So that's why you have to shift and you have to move. And it only happens going in the left direction. So that's, you can always practice both ways, but in the form, it only goes in that direction. So once we're here, I'm going to go through that again with you. 1, 2, single whip, forward. Back to center. We're going to go to the right or to the left. Stepping to the left, but you have this is the second set. This is the third set. So on the third set, you should end up in this corner, because now you're going to hook your wrist again and then go back to single whip. Okay? So that's the series. That's cloud hand movements. Now, cloud hand movements is going to take you in a direction. So then this is actually the next posture, and you fold your hand, because we were here, now you're here, fold, and we're going to go right toward the palm, right toward the face. So that's called palm strikes the face. So when we're here, palm strikes face, this goes to this lower position to here. So this position is really half of this. So when you hold the ball, you have this lower position. So this is palm strikes face. If I did another one, palm strikes face, it would be like this, but we don't have it on that side. We only have it on the right side. Okay? Now, when we step to the side, so this is going from here to the corner after palm strikes face. We go to the corner, and then we make a circle as we shift our legs. So when we're here, we're going to go up and then turn to the corner and create the heel kick. And then we're going to look in the corner and then go down to here and then create 2 punches to the ear. So that kick and the 2 punches to the ear happens in a lot of the forms. It's the kick and then 2 punches to the ear, because that's kind of the technique and the progression of the movement. So you can see from palm strikes face, we're just going to go over the top, scoop down. Then when we're down, we have to get that center position before we lift up, open the hip, do the heel kick, and then we're going to turn and do the 2 punches. Now in the form, you're actually going to go to that corner. But if I go to that corner, you're not going to see the movement, so I'm just going to keep it here. So I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to lift to here, and I'm going to go to that corner. So it's just 45 degrees as a reference point. But then I go here and I extend the knee. And then from here, I'm going to end up going like this. This foot's going to go here. We're going to step out like this, squat down here. And then this is your downward posture. So that scoops up the leg. And then when it gets to here, it's going to go down as I come to here again. And then we're here. So that's golden cockerel, stance on one leg. So you can see when the hands are down, you have this alignment. So you have to look for that alignment for your body to be centered and stacked. Because when you go into a position like this and you're trying to do this movement, you're going to be all over the place because you can't relax. So the important thing is finding the neutral, natural position, and then you can actually pass through to get to the next position. I mean, that's everything we're learning is, especially in Tai Chi, is about balance. And, not balance is not just a term. Balance is in movement, it's in motion. There's balance in the idea of a contraction and a relaxation. So if your muscles are in conflict, there's going to be one side dominant. If it's too soft or too relaxed, it's going to be sort of uncontrolled. So you have to balance that in motion. So that's why when I speak of movement and balance and motion, it's critical for the body to start to recognize that. But it's not easy to get the body to recognize it before you've actually understood it up in here. Once you start taking the information through sort of this building through the fundamentals and the ideas, then eventually a lot of that information will start to make more sense. Because in the beginning, we really don't know what we're up against. So going over that again, it's the palm strikes face is here. The kick is to the corner, but then you have to find your center. And then you find your center, then you do your kick, and then you go up and you're here. So this is 2 punches to the ear. Now you can't see from there, but when I do the 2 punches to the ear, it's about the width of my forehead. And some people actually do it like this, where the 2 fists are coming in like that. So that space there is called the eye of the fist. So the eye of the fist, if you look at it, looks like an eye. So, it's just a reference, just a term, but you go like this and it's coming toward here. So it's really a strike to the temple. So that's why they call it 2 punches to the ear, because the ears are approximately where the temple is. Now, if I sit back and I kind of adjust my foot so that I can find that 45-degree position, I'm down here, I'm up here, the hip goes there, and you do the heel kick, and then from there, you hook your wrist, and then you find that position. Now, this is here, and this is in that 45-degree corner, and we're balancing like this, and then we scoot down. This is where it takes a little flexibility. If you can't go all the way down, go halfway down. It's not going to have the same look, but at least you know that that's the next movement. Then if you are down, you want to take it down the thigh, and then come right up through here, and then bring it up so that you have an up and down movement. And then you go to the other side. Now when you're on the other side, it's going to look like this. And then you go up, and then you're on this side. Okay? Now we switch over to here. We're going to go into the next movement, which is Jade Lady Work Shuttle. And then we step out, and we go to the corner. And we hold the ball, and we step out, and we go to the corner. Okay. So you see, this is Jade Lady Work Shuttle. Pretty much the same in most of the Tai Chi forms, where your Yang styles like this, Wu styles similar, not a big difference. And from here, normally it would be in the corners, like the kicks are in the corners. I'm just giving you the front view because what I'm going to do is do this. Find that back corner, brush the knee, and insert the needle. Okay, and then we have the cross hand position to fan through the back. Okay, so fan through the back is like this. Now, if I went like this, that's single whip. This is like this. So, in the Wu style, we do fan through the back like this. So we use the horse stance. In the Yang style, they use the leaning or the archer stance. Okay, so you see the similarities in the posture as far as upper body hand movement. You see the major differences in whether you're in a horse stance or an archer stance. And at the same time, they use the same name. You know, fan through the back, insert needle, jade lady work shuttle. They're the same names. It's the stylistic differences because one evolved from the other. In fact, Wu style Tai Chi evolved from the Yang style Tai Chi originally, and then it became another style. And Wu style Tai Chi, because every founding master creates a style, and he uses in his mind what the advantage of to be in a different stance or a different interpretation of the application. So they create these styles based on what they feel is better. So that's really subjective as to what's better. It's really interpretation, and everybody can decide which one they like. So when you're in fan through the back, you're here. So, and then when you turn to the other side, you're like that. So I'm kind of going through the center to the opposite side, but then I turn my foot, and then I sit back, and this is parry. And then I step out like this, and then I punch. So that's called parry and punch, divert, parry, and punch. And then after you punch, you finish by leopard and tiger springs to mountain, which is just those two pushes. And the closing movement ends up going through here to that corner like this. You're doing a transition. You're in the punch position, and then you're going to open the stance. Then you're going to take your body over to that corner, and then you're going to come back through center with the palms up. You find your shoulder width stance, and then you close and relax. So that's the form in a nutshell with all the postures viewed from the mirror. I think it's easier for you to track, because if I did everything facing you in regard to these postures, you would be very confused, because mirror image isn't a way to practice the form. It's a way to practice the warm-ups, because a lot of things are in pairs, and the other thing is we're not moving. We're not stepping. Once you start to step and you go through the directional phase of the form, you're going to lose, perspective, and the way you're viewing it would be very difficult. Because we have a 3-camera setup, if we're switching, most of the time we're going through the form, we try to switch it so you get the back view. So that's a little bit more complicated, on the video side, because you have to have a setup like that. So, Lucian, how much time we got? Oh, sorry about that. I went through all the postures. The form is online. If you go to streaming, look up last week's or whatever, there would be going through the 24 movement. So I went through all the postures. I didn't realize I took up all that time, but hopefully all of that is helpful. And you can review each one of those postures by going back to look at the video. So on that note, I'll see you next week. I hope you enjoyed this. Subscribe, give us the thumbs up, and I hope you are learning at home.